Hello students, I hope you are safe at home. I am glad to be with you online. I am not habitual of this medium, but hope that you will enjoy it. And it is due to the physics. Come to the main point. Our first chapter of 12 physics is electrostatics. Electrostatics. The branch of physics which deals with the study of stationary electrons are called electrostatics. Stationary electrons can be produced by the following ways. Number first, by rubbing or friction. Number second, by conduction. Number third, by induction. Electrons are the fundamental particles of the atom. Similarly, protons and neutrons are also fundamental particles, but the electrons and the protons acquire the charge. Electron is negatively charged and proton is positively charged. Although the masses of the electron and the proton are different, but the charge acquired by them is same. We know that if the one electron is brought near to the another electron, they have the mass. Both the electrons have the mass, and any object which acquires the mass have the attractional property that is called gravitational force between them. And we have learned in the 11th class that if the two massive objects like one electron and another electron, they are having the masses and they brought near each other at some distance, there is the attraction force that is called gravitational force. How much force is between them? We have learned that in the 11th class. F is equal to G m1 m2 by r square, where m1 is the mass of one electron and m2 is the mass of another electron. R is the distance between them, or we can say that the force between two electrons is F is equal to G m e square. M e square मतलब mass of electron square upon r square. How m is square? Because m1 into m2. m1 is the mass of one electron. m2 is also the mass of another electron. Their masses are same. Therefore, G into me square upon r square. This is the gravitational force between them. But our chapter is not concerned with the gravitational force but the electrostatic force. Then question arises that if the one electron is brought near to the another electron, then whether there is the attraction force or repulsive force. Yes, obvious. The charges are same, then they will repel each other. They will repel each other. That is the repulsive force. And this force is called electric force. And this is the property of charged particle, that they acquire the repulsive or attractive property due to their charges, and this is called electric charges. Now the question arises that how the charges are produced. Earlier we have explained that the charge can be produced by three ways. Number first, by rubbing or by friction. Number second, by induction, and number third, by conduction. Now we will see one by one briefly. Number first, by friction. By friction. When the glass rod, suppose we are taking the example of friction, how the charges are produced by the friction. Suppose glass rod is rubbed with the silk cloth, then glass rod and number second silk, they will acquire the charge. In this way, among the glass and the silk, who will be the more electron affinity power, that will be negatively charged, and whose electron affinity is less, that object will acquire the positive charge. Now how the charge they acquire? Very simple. When the glass and the silk are rubbed on each other, the outermost electron of the silk and the glass are ruptured, they break. Therefore, the electron from the silk, the electron from the glass will transfer to the silk, and silk will be negatively charged. Whereas the glass will be positively charged, because the glass is giving the electrons. Their outermost atoms are broken and their electrons are transferred to the silk, and therefore the glass is becoming positively charged and silk becoming negatively charged. If suppose after rubbing they brought near to each other, then glass and silk will attract each other. This is the example of friction. Number second, see the example of conduction. In the conduction, one charged body should be physically in contact with uncharged body. Or suppose positively charged glass rod is brought near and in contact with another uncharged body, then the positively charges from the glass rod will be transferred to that body, and that body will also be charged. That is called conduction. Number third is induction. In the induction, the charged body is not in physical contact with the uncharged body, but they are at some distance, and therefore the uncharged body induce the opposite charge in them due to the charged body brought near to it. Suppose this is the uncharged body and glass rod is brought near it. This is positive charge. Then on the nearby surface of this uncharged body there will be negatively charge, and on the another side there will be positive charge. If this body is going to be earth, then this positive charge will be transferred towards the earth, and when this rod kept away and this body kept free, then this negative charge will be distributed over the uncharged body. Now that will be charged one. In this way, by the induction, we have produced the negative charge. Due to the positive charge glass rod. In this way, by these three methods, we can produce the charge within the uncharged body. As you know that there are two types of charges, negative charge and the positive charge. Obviously, negative charge particles are called electrons and positive charge particles are called protons. But anyone can say that, sir, whether the electron charge is half, 1/4 or 1/6. The answer will be no. And this is called quantization of charge. Means the electrons and the charge on the electron and charge on the proton is the integral multiple of electron. Means 3 electron, 4 electron, 5 electron, 1 electron. But there is no half electron and 1/4 electron. This is called quantization of charges. Now, the law is given by the Coulomb, and that law is called Coulomb's law. Coulomb's law is connected with the forces, that is electric force, that may be attractive or repulsive. That may be attractive or repulsive forces, and this is called Coulomb's law. Coulomb's law. And Coulomb's law is depend upon the inverse square law. Inverse square law means the gravitational, the universal law of gravitational. That is the inverse square law. And in inverse square law, we have seen that the attractive force between the two massive bodies is F is equal to G small m1 small m2 upon r square, where the m1 is the mass of one object and m2 is the mass of another object and r is the distance between them. This is the inverse square law. And on the same law, the Coulomb's law is depend. Very simple. See here, Coulomb's law is connected with the charges of the body, and gravitation law is connected with the masses of the masses of the body. So here we can rearrange. We can say that we can rearrange the Newton's universal law of gravitation, and we can say that that will be as the Coulomb's law. Coulomb's law says that if there is a two unequal or there are the two unlike charges, suppose electron and the proton, will there be repulsive force or attractive force? Yes, obviously. The charges are different, then there will be the attractive force. But what is the amount of that attractive force? We can find out the magnitude of the force as well as the direction of that force. Force means vector quantity. But first of all, see the magnitude of the force between the electron and the proton. That is depend upon the Newton's universal law of gravitation. How? See here. F is equal to K. Here we have to remember that in Newton's universal law of gravitation, the constant was G, but here is K. F is equal to K into electron into proton, and suppose the distance between them is r, and it's r ka square. Now the equation is that F is equal to K into the charge of electron and the charge of proton upon r square. Here, suppose here is the electron and here is the proton. The distance between them is r. If the r is less, F will be more. Means F and r, the distance between them is inversely proportional. Now you will be eagerly waiting that what is the K? K means what? We have studied the G. We have studied the G in 11th class. But what is here K? What is here K? K means constant. It is called electrostatic constant. Electrostatic constant, and its value is 9 into 10 raised to power 9. Its unit will be Newton meter square. Newton meter square per Coulomb square. This is the value of K, electrostatic constant. But again the question arises that what is the K? From where it is coming? So here K is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught. 4 pi epsilon naught. You put the value of 4, you put the value of pi and epsilon naught. Epsilon naught. What is the epsilon naught? Epsilon naught is the permittivity. Epsilon naught is the permittivity of free space. Permittivity means what? अगर इलेक्ट्रॉन और प्रोटॉन दोनों फ्री स्पेस में है, उनके बीच में कोई मीडियम नहीं है, तो in how much amount, in how much extent the one electron is giving permission to the attractive force for the proton, means extent, कितने एक्सटेंट में इलेक्ट्रॉन और मतलब एक इलेक्ट्रॉन दूसरे प्रोटॉन को कितने एक्सटेंट में फोर्स एक्सर्ट करने का परमिशन देता है, उसको बोलेंगे हम परमिटिविटी, एप्सिलॉन नॉट. epsilon naught. The value of epsilon naught is given by epsilon naught is equal to 8.85 into 10 raised to power minus 12. 10 raised to power minus 12 Coulomb Coulomb power minus 2 Newton power minus 1, sorry, Coulomb square upon Newton per Coulomb square upon Newton per meter square, means the value of epsilon naught is 8.85 into 10 raised to power minus 12 Coulomb square per Newton meter square. This is the value of epsilon naught, and we will use this value, or in the CBSE board the value of all the constant is given in the question paper also. There is no need to keep or to remember this value, no need, but if you will remember, then that is the good thing. ठीक है? So here Coulomb's law is about the charges between the two bodies, and it is depend upon the inverse square law. Now we have seen the Coulomb's law in the form of what? Magnitude. Here F is equal to K E naught, मतलब electron into proton upon R square. Here I was not given the vector quantity here, vector. I was not here written vector, means it was only the magnitude of the force. Then what is about the direction? Direction is that vector F is equal to K, vector F is equal to K electron proton upon R square, and if here is the cap R means unit vector. Cap R means what? Unit vector. Here is the unit vector, right hand side is the unit vector and left hand side only the vector, then it is in vector form. It is in the vector form. Then you will say that, sir, here is the vector and here is the unit vector. The two sides are not equal. Yes, you are correct. You can make the two sides vectorially equal as vector F is equal to K electron charge, proton charge अपॉन r क्यूब, और यहाँ पे वेक्टर r, because vector r is equal to cap r या unit vector r is equal to vector r upon magnitude of vector r, magnitude of vector r. This is the cap r या unit vector r, means vector r upon magnitude of vector r. In this way, F is equal to K, E negative means electron into proton upon r square. Today we have learned about the Coulomb's law, up to the Coulomb's law. Now in the next class we will see the continuation of charge distribution, how the charge is distributed in next class. Okay, thank you.